Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. Our program deals with leading in challenging times, and everybody knows that education has its challenges. Our guest today is Dallas Hazelhorst, who has helped bring STEM Harvest to Hays, and that happened a couple years ago. Some of you are probably familiar with the STEM Harvest building at 507 Main, downtown Hays, and that's where kids are involved in really doing some amazing learning. All you have to do is walk through that, and a guy like myself says, I want to do some of that. That's fun. STEM Harvest is going to be part of a fun event in downtown Hays on May 4th. Dallas, tell us about what you're going to be doing with the Kansas Science Foundation and the special festival in downtown Hays.
Yeah, so once again, thanks for having me. Basically what we're going to be doing is it's going to be a come and go event for families to come to town, for Hays families, whoever. On May 4th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., basically come and see science in action. So not just people with poster boards and things like that. We have the Hays Fire Department, for instance, will be showing some fire science stuff. We'll actually have our robotics students actually displaying their robot. I know the Kansas Extension Office has some soil erosion things that they're doing. So really a little bit, I know STEM Harvest tends to focus on more of the tech side of things. This is more for science for everyone. So it'll be a little bit of everything.
Well, that sounds fun. So talk a little bit about what STEM is, what that means, and then we're going to kind of the specifics of where to go, how to get involved, and what you should be prepared for.
Yeah, sure. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So obviously that covers a swath of occupations these days. And so, kind of what STEM Harvest is trying to do is make it to where people are not scared of those particular things. Technology can be scary, science can be scary. So it's trying to bring people up to where they go, well, I messed around with that at this, this STEM place. This isn't that scary to me at all. I've done coding. I've done some of these things, maybe not for a full-time job or anything, but, once again, if they go into, physics or some other occupation, they're going to end up doing some of those things anyway. And so once again, then they're not scared of it. So that's kind of what we're trying to do with STEM Harvest. And yeah, I don't know if that explains well what you were talking about or not.
Well, it does, but because really that's the focus of what the whole festival is about. And you do it every day over at STEM Harvest at your place there. Is this only for kids?
It's going to be a family affair. So it's on May 4th, which is a Sunday. And so the idea is that families can come out, 4 or 5 of a family and go around and kind of look at what all the tables mean. And because the way it's essentially set up is, so at STEM Harvest at 507 Main, we'll have some items here, both inside and outside. So once again, the fire department, they're going to be lighting some things on fire. We don't want to do that inside.
Good point. Good idea.
So they're going to be doing some things outside. Some other folks are going to be doing some things with burning ethanol, things of that nature. So that'll all be outside. And then like I said, we'll have the inside items. So we'll have STEM Harvest will be involved. The Kansas Extension Office will be involved. Fort Hays will actually have some things, including the maker space. They'll be involved down at the pavilion. And then also, last but not least, is the public library will have a number of things going on as well, both inside and outside. And so it's kind of, that's why we're calling it the Downtown Science Festival. It's really all the way down Main Street to where, once again, a family can come in. It's a come and go event. You don't have to be here right at 11. You don't have to, if it's 3 o'clock going, oh, we're not going to see everything. No, there's a good chance you'll still see everything. Anytime during that, basically come in, visit all the tables. We'll have some cool things. Kids will be able to do some passports, which is a kind of a neat little concept that they get a handout and then get stamps from the various tables. And if they get enough stamps, then they're actually included in a drawing for a swag bag with some different prizes and things in it. So yeah, lots of things going on, all focused obviously around science and technology.
Now this is all free
Hmm.
to participate. So if you have some interest in it, like you said, you don't have to come down for the whole time frame,
Hmm.
but you can come down and visit some and just walk by and see if something may perk your interest or your
Hmm.
child's interest.
Hmm.
And it's pretty fun to see that. I know you have a web page called Science Fest Kansas,
Hmm.
ks.org/haze. And
Hmm.
you go on to that sciencefestks.org/haze. And boy, it shows some of the kids there. And you see some of these kids are they're just focused on what they're doing. And
Yeah.
kids love that sort of new things. Whereas some of us, and I'll put myself in the older category, you're a youngster, but saying, boy, I don't want to try something new.
Hmm.
But this is a chance to kind of look at some of those things and some of those new technologies and think about how far we've come, not only the last few years, but the last 20, 30, 40 years as well.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, that's kind of the point of this too, is that it's all very hands-on. So it's not going to be, someone standing in, with a board behind them and PowerPointing you to death or anything like that. This is actually meant for kids to really, get hands-on, see what's going on with things. A lot of them are going to have things where the kids actually, you know, hey, hold things and measure things and everything else. So there's just a lot going on. And like I said, it's not going to be a one-way conversation. We want the kids to be interactive and really enjoy it.
Who are your partners in this, Dallas?
Yeah, so we have a lot of them. So obviously, other than the ones that we just mentioned, we have Fort Hayes, Treetop Security, my my company. We have the Hayes Public Library Extension Office. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of
I saw a
everyone.
name involved called Raise Kansas, RAISE
Uh-huh.
Kansas. Who is that?
Yeah, so Race, Kansas, it's actually Lindsay Schmidt and her group. They were previously STEMFire. So
Mm.
STEMFire was the group that which is what Raise still does. But they go around to the different high schools, different areas. So a lot of people may be familiar with Lindsay and some of the work that she's done. Um, they bring in professionals who have STEM careers, whether that's meteorology or whatever the case may be. But they talk to kids in high school, middle school, and basically let them know that hey, these opportunities are out there. So that's obviously Lindsay is a huge part of everything that we're doing here.
So, Dallas, talk about you for just a second. You have a technology background, but when you were young, probably didn't have a technology fair like this in Hayes. Where did you get your spark? You were an early STEMmer, probably. Where did you get that spark?
Yeah, mine was early computers. So definitely growing up, we always had I'm not going to say the latest, greatest computer in the house, but pretty close to it. My dad was a huge influence, got me into soldering, things like that. A
Hmm.
lot of times giving me, you know, uh, the old, $250, $300 calculators, some of those early ones. And occasionally I fixed them with some soldering. Sometimes I did not. But that was okay. It still got me out of his hair for a little bit. So
Hmm.
there's the benefit to that. But yeah, I mean, goes to show, the just introducing me to soldering obviously has become a lifelong thing. We do it quite frequently. We show kids it quite frequently. And even, my second oldest daughter, I have four daughters, and my second oldest daughter, um, we were actually before we were getting STEM really going. Um, we were kind of showing the oldest daughter, hey, here's how you solder and things like that, and she was really taken to it, enjoying it. And then the second daughter, who was 6 at the time, said, "Hey, Dad, I want to try that." And I was like, "Ew, I don't know, soldering. That's pretty young." And then, you know, it was about 15 minutes later, I was like, you know what I was doing when I was 6 and 7? I was soldering.
Uttering.
So I was like, well, get over here. And, you know, it just goes to show what a kid can do with when they put their mind to it. Um, about 20, 30 minutes later, I kind of give her the basics of this is what you do, this is what you don't do, this is how you know which leg on the LED is positive and which one's negative, and all of those things. And so I showed her all of that. And about 30 minutes later, she's like, "Go away! I'm working on this." And so about every 45 minutes to an hour, I'd come back, check on her. She was still plugging away at it. So yeah, there's it you kind of think that kids might not be able to handle some of those things, and they just do amazingly well.
Well, I know, getting started, were you one of those that had one of those science labs that had all the little bottles with chemicals in it that you could do different things or solder different things, make a home built radio, that kind of thing?
We were actually just talking about this the other day. The Radio Shack, the 200 or 300 in one, where you bent over the little springs and then you put the wires in there and you could make all the things. Yeah, absolutely.
I still have mine at home.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, if you and I get together, we can probably build a robot or something out of that
Hey,
thing.
there
But
you go.
it's a box that's sitting in there that has you. I don't know. I think you're right. It's a 200 and out of
Hmm.
one kit, you can make all sorts of different things. So
Yeah,
anyway, there those sort of things are what get kids interested in education and learning.
yeah.
And it creates a focus for them along the line that they may have not ever thought about before. So if you can get your kids down there, I think it's a great idea. Dallas, we're going to take a quick break here, come back, and then we'll kind of go through things on how you get there, what you do, how you register if you need to, and all those little things to go about that. So stay with me here. Dallas Hazelhorse is our guest with the Science Festival in downtown Hayes on May 4th. Back with more after this.
Since 1776, the United States of America continues to stand tall. It's been tested before, many times. Through grit and the ability to move forward, we create better tomorrows. We help our clients live their best lives to and through retirement. We make it easier. Thank you, Kansas. Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times, brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. Our guest today is Dallas Hazelhorse, and he's with Treetop Security, and they're located in downtown Hayes, but part of the lead group putting this thing together to have a science fair, a science festival in downtown Hayes. It's like amazing kind of things going on there. Dallas, give us the hours, the locations, and all those things, and then finally wrap up with your website, because you have some cool things on your website that people can go and really kind of learn what's going to be happening.
Yeah, sure. So the event itself is going to be from on May 4th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Something that we hadn't discussed is we are going to have some food trucks and stuff down there. So if people are showing up kind of around lunchtime,
That's
we'll
another
all,
science in and of itself, how you
yeah,
make
no,
good food and do
absolutely,
that. So yeah.
absolutely. So we'll have some grills going as well. So if you're just looking for a kind of a cheap meal and on the go, we'll be doing that as well. But yeah, so May 4th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., all the way from us at 507 Main Street, which is the old Hayes Daily News building, all the way down the street to the Hayes Public Library. There's going to be multiple stops in between. And it is very much a come and go event, so if you only have 30 minutes, come on down. If you have a couple of hours and you really want to visit every single table and really get to the nuts and bolts that everybody's trying to show you, go for it. You can definitely spend a couple of hours pretty easy. Right now we have about 25 tables or presenters, I should say. And so once again, that's going to be all the way down the street. So if you wanted to spend, 10, 15 minutes at each of those, obviously there's a full day if you really wanted to.
If somebody wants to look into robotics, how do they know where to go for that? Is there kind of a map of where to go?
Yeah, so we'll have a map. They'll be at the basically the flyer, the handout. You can also keep an eye on STEM Harvest on our social media and things like that. We'll start sharing some of those things. doing some of the sponsor shout outs, because we have had a number of sponsors, which, going back to your earlier conversation, this is all 100% free. There is no cost to anyone unless you're, looking to eat or anything else. But yeah, so the event will have like I said, the passports. That'll also include the map on there that'll show folks where bathrooms, things like that are. We'll have some music, some live music down at the pavilion going as well. So once again, just make it a fun, interactive day where people learn a lot in the process, and hopefully come away with some good things that they can take back and potentially change someone's life, make them think about some careers that they hadn't previously thought about.
And your website?
Yep. So the website is sciencefestks.org/Hays. If you just do Downtown Science Fest and do a search for it, you'll actually find it as well for Hays. There was a great write-up on Hays Post from there. So that's probably where you'll end up. But yeah, definitely lots going on. We're super excited to have this. It'll be our first one in Hays. The Kansas Science Foundation has had them in Manhattan the last few years. They're going to continue with the Manhattan one. So this is their first time venturing outside of Manhattan and also doing it in Hays. So we're really excited to bring this to downtown and really the surrounding area.
What a great idea for grandparents to bring their grandkids, or parents to bring their kids, hang out downtown. We'll plan for a beautiful day that day. We're in charge of weather that day.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a nice day, but for parents, grandparents, get their kids involved in something. And it's one of those things that it could be a lifelong learning change for them to jump involved, just like you were involved with soldering early on, and it just led to a lifelong career of something that you enjoy doing. So get your kids involved. Dallas, thank you for the work to make this happen, because it just doesn't happen in a vacuum. Somebody has to get in front of the train and get going. Thank you for your work and your team down there for putting this all together.
Yeah, thank you for having us and helping us spread the word.
Hey, our guest today on Forward Ever is Dallas Hazelhorse. He is presenting and part of the team for the Science Festival here in Hays on May 4th. Hope you can attend. 11 to 4 of the dates, downtown Hays. And we talked about all the places you can go, including just doing a search for Science Festival downtown Hays. You'll find a lot of information on that. Thanks for listening to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.